U.S. captures Venezuela's long-serving president, Nicolas Maduro. Britain and France drop bombs to destroy Daesh weapon cache. Good afternoon and Salam Malaysia Madani. I'm Mohana Priya and you're watching World Today. The United States attacked Venezuela and captured its long-serving president, Nicolas Maduro, in an overnight operation on Saturday. The U.S. President Donald Trump said Washington would place the country under temporary American control, including the possible deployment of U.S. forces if necessary. Trump's announcement came hours after a lightning attack in which special forces grabbed Maduro and his wife while airstrikes pounded sites in and around the capital city. Trump said Maduro and his wife would face American justice, calling it one of the most successful military operations in U.S. history. The White House's motivations became clearer after President Donald Trump indicated that regime change and access to Venezuela's oil riches were the main objectives behind the U.S. operation.
We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. So we don't want to be involved with having somebody else get in and we have the same situation that we had for the last long period of years. We're going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure, and start making money for the country.
President Trump said the U.S. deployed air, land and sea forces in its military operation against Venezuela. He added that Washington is prepared to launch a second strike if needed, warning that it would be much larger, though he said another attack is probably not necessary. The UN Security Council will convene on Monday at Venezuela's request to discuss the U.S. operation to seize President Nicolas Maduro, according to the Council's Somali presidency. The meeting follows growing international concern over the developments in Venezuela. Malaysia has firmly rejected any form of foreign interference in a country's internal affairs, including threats or the use of force. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, or Wisma Putra, made the statement in an update on the situation in Caracas, Venezuela, adding that it is closely monitoring developments following reports of a security operation in Venezuela. The ministry said that this is a fundamental principle enshrined in the United Nations Charter and international law. Wisma Putra said Malaysia consistently upholds the importance of resolving disputes peacefully through dialogue, respecting national sovereignty and adhering to international norms. The statement also said at this critical time, it is important for all parties involved to exercise full restraint and seek a peaceful resolution through dialogue and diplomacy. In line with these developments, Wisma Putra said the ministry's priority remains the safety and welfare of Malaysians abroad. The Malaysian embassy in Caracas has contacted all registered Malaysians in the country and confirmed that they are safe and accounted for. Malaysians in Venezuela are advised to remain vigilant, follow the instructions of local authorities, and stay in close contact with the embassy. And related to this matter, several countries held protests against the attack on Caracas, Venezuela, and the arrest of President Nicolas Maduro. In Buenos Aires, demonstrators, including left-wing activists, gathered outside the U.S. embassy to condemn U.S. strikes on Venezuela. Protesters demonstrated peacefully, waving Argentinian and Palestinian flags as security forces supervised the area. In Barcelona, demonstrators took to the streets of Barcelona to condemn U.S. strikes on Venezuela. Spain is home to the largest Venezuelan migrant population outside Latin America and the U.S. In Rome, Italy, demonstrators gathered outside the U.S. embassy to protest against Washington's most direct intervention in Latin America. The protest was organized by left-wing parties and university groups in Rome. Colombia's Defense Minister Pedro Sanchez said that security forces were put on alert along the border with Venezuela to prevent any possible attacks by illegal armed groups after a U.S. airstrike on Venezuela. He said that under President Gustavo Petro's orders, a unified command post and an action plan were activated in the border city of Cúcuta to help migrants and provide needed assistance. Colombia also announced on Saturday the temporary closure of its land borders with Venezuela due to the rising tensions. Earlier on Saturday, explosions were heard in Caracas, the capital of Venezuela, followed by air raid sirens. There were also reports of helicopters hovering over Caracas and telecommunications services being disrupted in some areas. Britain and France's air forces conducted a joint operation on Saturday evening to bomb a suspected underground arms cache previously used by the Daesh group in Syria. Now, guided bombs were used to target access tunnels to the site in a mountainous region near the ancient city of Palmyra. Video footage provided by the ministry claimed to show Royal Air Force Typhoon aircraft refueling in mid-air during a joint strike with France against the group. British Defence Secretary John Healey said this action shows UK leadership and determination to stand shoulder to shoulder with its allies to stamp out any resurgence of Daesh and their dangerous and violent ideologies in the West Asia region. Britain said the area was devoid of any civilian habitation before the attack and that its aircraft had returned safely, adding that it used Typhoon FGR-4 combat jets to bomb the target, supported by a Voyager refueling tanker. Western aircraft have been conducting patrols to stop a resurgence of Daesh that ruled parts of Syria until 2019. Saudi Arabia's foreign ministry called for a comprehensive conference in Riyadh to bring together all southern factions of Yemen to discuss just solutions to its southern cause. In a statement, the ministry said the meeting is being organized at the request of Chairman of Yemen's Presidential Leadership Council, Rashad Al-Alimi. The ministry stressed that the only way to address the southern issue is through dialogue within the framework of a comprehensive political solution in Yemen. Just a day earlier, on Friday, the Ministry of Defense of the United Arab Emirates, UAE, published its stance on social media that it has withdrawn all its remaining forces from Yemen. It also said the withdrawal was in line with a leadership decision to end the country's counter-terrorism operations in Yemen. Saudi Arabia backs Yemen's internationally recognized government and regards the country's eastern provinces as a key buffer zone for the security of its own southern border. The Saudi-backed Yemeni government on Friday launched a military operation against the STC in the southeastern oil-rich province of Hadramaut. The governor said that the operation aims to restore state authorities and ensure security and stability in the province, particularly around key government institutions and strategic facilities. As tensions in southern Yemen have escalated, differences between Saudi Arabia, the SDC, and the UAE have become increasingly evident. Now, people in Shibuya, Tokyo, held a rally to protest Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi's comments on Taiwan and her attempts to revive militarism. In early November 2025, Takaichi claimed that China's use of force on Taiwan could pose a survival-threatening situation for Japan. She also hinted at the possibility of armed intervention in the Taiwan Strait, drawing strong criticism worldwide. At the rally, protesters chanted slogans opposing remarks on advocating Taiwan emergency and possessing nuclear weapons. At the year-end of 2025, Takaichi approved a record $782 billion budget for the next fiscal year, including the largest defense budget on record. Earlier in December 2025, the Japanese parliament passed a $118 billion supplementary budget to fund a new stimulus package, including over $10 billion for security and diplomacy. North Korea fired multiple ballistic missiles off its east coast on Sunday. The Seoul's military said its first launch of the year just hours before South Korea's leader heads to China for a summit. The military is maintaining a full readiness posture, having strengthened surveillance and vigilance against possible additional launches. According to the Japan's Ministry of Defense, the missile is believed to have already fallen. It is Pyongyang's first ballistic missile launch since November, when it staged a test after US President Donald Trump approved South Korea's plan to build a nuclear-powered submarine. One analyst said Trump's Saturday military operation against Venezuela likely played a role in the decision to carry out the launch. Pyongyang, North Korea, has for decades argued it needs its nuclear and missile program as a deterrent against alleged regime change efforts by Washington. On another note, Japan's defense ministry had launched a stern protest and strongly condemned a reported launch of several ballistic missiles by North Korea towards the sea off its east coast.
このような弾道ミサイル発射は関連する安保理決議に違反し、国民の安全に関わる重大な問題です。今回の発射については、我が国として北朝鮮に対し、北京の大使館ルートを通じて厳重に抗議し、強く非難しました。防衛省としては、国民の生命、財産を守り抜くため、引き続きアメリカや韓国等とも緊密に連携し、情報の収集、分析及び警戒監視に全力を挙げてまいります。
MyCard bukan sekadar kad pengenalan, tetapi medium utama yang menghubungkan rakyat dengan pelbagai perkhidmatan kerajaan dan swasta. Banyak insentif kerajaan disalurkan melalui MyCard, daripada bantuan kebajikan, kemudahan kesihatan hinggalah pelbagai program rakyat. Inilah keistimewaan yang dimiliki oleh setiap warga negara Malaysia. Sila periksa keadaan MyCard anda. Sekiranya chip rosak, hilang atau MyCard sudah uzur, segera lakukan penggantian di Jabatan Pendaftaran Negara agar hak dan kemudahan anda sentiasa terjamin. Inilah komitmen madani dengan dokumen identiti yang sah, moden dan diyakini, rakyat disantuni sebaiknya. MyCard, identiti anda, kebanggaan negara.
China-France relations reached a new high with French President Emmanuel Macron's three-day state visit to China in December 2025 at the invitation of President Xi Jinping, during which the two leaders vowed to enhance bilateral ties. It is Macron's fourth state visit to China and a reciprocal visit to Xi's historic state visit to France in 2024 that marked the 60th anniversary of the establishment of China-France diplomatic relations. Xi held talks with Macron in Beijing on 4th December 2025, calling on both sides to seize opportunities and expand the scope of cooperation. During the talks, Xi said that China and France are independent, visionary and responsible major countries and constructive forces working to foster a multipolar world and promote solidarity and cooperation among humanity. Macron noted that France and China have maintained close high-level exchanges and have always trusted and respected each other. On 5th December 2025, Xi held an informal meeting with Macron in Dujiangshan, southwest China's Sichuan province, the second stop of Macron's visit to China. The friendly exchanges between the two leaders further deepened mutual understanding and brought the two nations closer together. Now, the chief prosecutor for the Swiss canton surrounding Crans-Montana, where at least 40 people were killed in a fire on New Year's Day confirmed that a criminal investigation had been opened into the bar's management. Prosecutor Beatrice Pilot said that the criminal investigation was opened at the end of the day on Friday and all leads will be examined.
Can you maybe mention your media?
Je vous confirme que hier, en fin de journée et en toute fin de journée, il y a une instruction pénale qui a été ouverte à l'encontre des deux gérants. Cette instruction pénale va permettre, en collaboration également avec toutes les parties qui sont concernées, de mettre en avant et d'explorer toutes les pistes. Je l'ai déjà dit à réitérer reprises, il n'y a aucune piste qui est laissée à l'abandon. Toutes les pistes sont explorées. Et là, en ouvrant cette instruction, ça va permettre justement d'avancer de façon conforme au Code de procédure pénale.
She said the investigation concerned involuntary homicide, involuntary bodily injury and involuntary arson. Witnesses to the fire reported seeing staff at the Le Constellation bar carrying so-called fountain candles atop bottles of champagne. Questions have also arisen about a foam material used to soundproof the ceiling of the basement where the revelers danced. Cables damaged by a fire on a bridge across the Teltow Canal in southwestern Berlin could leave up to 45,000 households without power until the 8th of January. A spokesperson said major repair works will be required to restore electricity to affected households.
Ja, das bedeutet eben, dass 45.000 Haushalte keinen Strom haben bei Temperaturen um den Gefrierpunkt, bei Schneefall im heutigen Tage. Des Weiteren sind mehrere Krankenhäuser und Pflegeeinrichtungen in diesem Gebiet, die eben auch davon betroffen sind. Und wie wir auch vor kurzem erfahren haben, wird sich dieser Stromausfall hier noch mehrere Tage ziehen, sodass wir also einen langwierigen Einsatz vor uns haben und dann auch vor allem die Versorgung der Patientinnen und Patienten in diesen Krankenhäusern und Pflegeeinrichtungen bei uns in den Vordergrund rückt.
Some 2,200 commercial entities were also affected, and mobile phone services and landlines might also be impacted. Local police said they are investigating the incident as a possible arson attack. Coming up in sports, Ekstrom burst into Dakar Rally Prologue win. Stay tuned. Kicking off our sports segment this afternoon, Al Ittihad beat Al Ta'awun 1-0 on Saturday, denying the visitors the chance to leap to a shared spot at the top of the Saudi Pro League table alongside Al Nassr. Al Ittihad had a flurry of shots on goal in the first half, but a valiant effort by Al Ta'awun goalkeeper Mailson saw the first half end scoreless. However, it took only 5 minutes after the break for Al Ittihad to finally get on the board when Musa Diaby beautifully set up Muhannad Shankiti. With a fourth straight win in a row, Sergio Conceicao's side is now in fifth place on 23 points. Al Ta'awun sit in third on 28th, 3 adrift Al Nassr and just a point behind Al Hilal, who have a game in hand. While the reigning champions still find themselves behind leaders Al Nassr on the table, Al Ittihad will hope their recent momentum can be something to build on. Meanwhile, Al Ta'awun have not won any of their last 5 January league matches and have also failed to score in their last 4. In motorsport, Sweden's Matthias Ekstrom made a quick start to the Dakar Rally in Saudi Arabia on Saturday by leading a Ford 1-2, the manufacturer's first in the 22-kilometer prologue to the main event. The 2-times German touring car DTM champion covered the distance around Yanbu in 10 minutes 48.7 seconds in his Raptor, 8 seconds faster than American teammate Mitch Guthrie. It was Ekstrom's third prologue success after 2023 and 2024 and his sixth Dakar Special stage win. The prologue positions determine only the start of order for Sunday's first proper stage, with the times not carrying over, but the 10 fastest drivers picking their start positions among the first 16. In the motorcycle category, Spaniard Edgar Canet was fastest for KTM and became the youngest stage winner on two wheels at the age of 20 years, 9 months and 18 days. Defending champion and teammate Daniel Sanders of Australia was 3 seconds behind, with American Ricky Brabeck third for Honda. Canet will start 15th on Sunday, with Sanders 16th. And on to tennis, world number 3 Coco Gauff helped inspire the United States to victory over Argentina in the round-robin stage of the United Cup in Perth. Gauff was in dominant form as she dispatched Solana Sierra 6-1, 6-1 in a one-sided encounter. Argentina had taken the lead initially as Sebastian Baez came from a set down to beat top seed Taylor Fritz 6-4, 5-7, 6-4. Later, Gauff teamed up with Christian Harrison to beat Argentina's mixed doubles team of Maria Lutz, Carl and Guido Androisi 6-4, 6-1 as the United States sealed the tie 2-1. Earlier, 3 times Grand Slam champion Stan Wawrinka began his farewell season with a battling victory over Frenchman Arthur Rinckerdich on Saturday. Belinda Bencic defeated Leolia Jean-Jean 6-2, 6-4 in their women's singles match to give Switzerland a 1-0 lead over France in their Group C tie. Bencic later returned for the mixed doubles to partner with Jakob Paul, with the Swiss duo beating the French pair of Tiansoa Sarah Rokotomanga Rajona and Edward Roger Vesselin to complete a 3-0 clean sweep for the Swiss. Switzerland's Wawrinka, who made his debut in 2002, said last month that he wanted to bring the curtain down on his career at the end of the season. He toiled in the Perth heat to seal a 5-7, 7-6, 7-6 win over world number 29 Rinckerdich. Meanwhile, China secured a 2-1 win over Belgium in their opening Group B round-robin tie. Belgium got off to a strong start with Elise Mertens defeating China's Zhu Lin 6-2, 6-2 in their women's singles match. But China leveled the tie at 1-1 when Zhang Zhizhen fought back from a set down to beat Zizhu Berg's 6-7, 7-6, 7-5 in 2 hours and 53 minutes. In the deciding mixed doubles match, Zhang partnered with Zhu to claim victory over Bergs and Mertens 5-7, 7-6, 10-6. The FIFA World Cup trophy landed in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia on Saturday at the start of a tour that will see the iconic trophy visit 30 FIFA member associations across 75 stops over 150 tour days. The 2026 tour started in the country which will host the World Cup in 2034 before it travels to all 3 host countries for this year's tournament, the United States, Canada and Mexico. The trophy tour will also include the host nations for the 2030 tournament, Morocco, Portugal and Spain. Italian World Cup winner Alessandro Del Piero carried the trophy on its first stop in Riyadh, where Saudi dignitaries, including the Vice President of the Saudi Arabian Football Federation, Lamia Bahayan, were present to mark the occasion.
Give me everybody over here.
Colourful stories await in our offbeat segment. Stay tuned. Fighting fire with fire, or rather the devil with the devil, a town in southern Germany's state of Bavaria celebrated the so-called Rauhnacht, or Tough Night Run, on the 28th of December. The Rauhnacht marks the 12 days between Christmas and Epiphany, where in some alpine traditions people dress up as devils, witches or other mythical beings to disperse evil spirits and winter. Fire, bells and other rituals can also help against mischievous creatures and unpleasant temperatures.
Es gibt verschiedene Gestalten. Man soll nicht Fingernägel schneiden, Haare schneiden. nicht Wäsche waschen, weil sie die bösen Dämonen darin verfangen, verschiedene Ritualien.
It's a tradition not just in Germany but also its neighboring countries. And while the masked monsters dancing with fire are hopefully scary enough for their intended audience of evil spirits, the human audience appeared less frightened.
Ich finde das super original. Also ich finde die Masken ein Traum. Also ich bin sehr begeistert. Und ich werde auch wieder kommen.
According to the organizer, it is only the second time Belingris hosts the run, and already 41 different groups are showing up to 1,000 masks participated. They were very determined to drive away winter and any evil spirits with a loud and fiery goodbye. Winter arrived in Germany in spectacular fashion, blanketing the country in ice and snow. In Munich, locals enjoyed sunny winter fun, ice skating along the Castle Canal, while Berlin woke up to heavy snow, gusty winds, and grey skies that turned streets and parks into magical winter wonderland. There were sledges, snowmen, and spontaneous snowball fights. Brothers Ben and Oliver Wood were among those making the most of the snowy fun.
Ja, mir gefällt es sehr. Also ich gehe jeden Tag eigentlich Schlittschuhlaufen. Das ist natürlich cool, einfach mal in der Natur Schlittschuhlaufen zu gehen. Passiert jetzt nicht so oft in meinem Leben wahrscheinlich mehr. Und ich war auch noch nie, glaube ich, in der Natur wirklich Schlittschuhlaufen. Deswegen, ich freue mich einfach sehr, dass ich hier sein kann.
According to the German Weather Service, the weather conditions in Berlin and Brandenburg are likely to remain unchanged for the time being. A storm depression over the Baltic Sea is bringing cold sea air into the region, causing snow, frost, and at times strong winds. Italians plunged into the freezing waters of Rome's River Tiber on Thursday as they welcomed the new year with a traditional jump from Caviar Bridge. For the past 80 years, daredevil divers have thrilled crowds in Rome with a peculiar New Year's Day tradition known as the tuffo nel Tevere. The wintry temperatures did not discourage divers who were cheered on by the crowd gathered on the riverbanks to watch the event. The tradition of jumping off the 18-meter-high bridge into the chilly waters below dates back to 1946. It was first started by Italian-Belgian Rick Dissonnet, known as Mr. OK, in 1945. Each year, to mark his birthday on the 1st of January, Dissonnet would plunge into the Tiber in his bathing suit and a top hat. Once he emerged from the water, he would reassure the cheering crowds with the OK hand gesture, leading to the nickname. And that's it from us this afternoon. In our top story today, U.S. to temporarily run Venezuela following capture of Maduro. Do join us again this evening at 8:30 p.m. on TV1 and Saluran Berita RTM for more news, or you can stream us live on RTM Click's website and mobile app. Till then, I'm Mohana Priya. Thank you for your company.